After months of delay, student loan portal set to open May 24. ASU threatens to down tools after 2 weeks due to salary arrears. Cattle traders protest as plateau government gives 2 weeks ultimatum to vacate Kara market. And on the international scene, South Sudan government and rebel groups sign commitment for peace. Very good afternoon and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I'm Sagir Ibrahim. Thanks for joining. The federal government, through the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, on Thursday announced May 24, 2024 as the official date for the opening of the portal for student loan applications. The announcement was made in a statement by the media lead for the NEL Fund, Nasir Ayantogo. Ayantogo in the statement said the opening of the application portal marked a significant milestone in the commitment of the President Bola Tinubu administration to fostering accessible and inclusive education for all Nigerian students. The portal, according to the statement, provides a user-friendly interface for students to submit their loan applications conveniently. And the Senate has stepped down the consideration of a report on the planned hike in electricity tariffs and the need to halt the proposed increase by distribution companies. The report presented by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Power, Eyinaya Abaribe, considered the privatization of Nigeria's power sector, regulation of the activities of players in the industry, and the consequences of an upward review of electricity tariff under the multi-year tariff order. Here's details.
During the presentation of the report read out by the chairman of the committee, Senator Eyinaya Abaribe, Abia South, lawmakers who commended the quality of work done by the committee seemed to share similar convictions and concerns about the proposed increase in tariffs, while Nigerians continue to grapple with the impacts of epileptic power supply. Some questioned the legality of the actions of the distribution companies creating a band system which categorizes electricity consumers in Nigeria from band A to band D.
Order, because I need
reference.
I need to rule on that order.
Yeah, but let me give you the whole order because he took part of the order. Well, in the opinion of the president of the Senate, not just that you stop anything.
The debate fired on until the chairman, Rules and Business Committee, Title Zam Benue Northwest, raised a point of order, noting that the matter was already being adjudicated.
A federal high court in Kano has issued an order restraining the NEC and from implementing the new tariff. The suit marked FHC CNKS 144-2024 was filed by Super SAC Company Limited and BBY SACs Limited. So this matter is pending in court, and I endorse the Senate to avoid any further debate on this matter until the matter is finally decided.
This report, on the ground, let me make my point, on the ground that is subsidized. In fact, why are we debating it? The whole, look at the number of we are in the Senate, less than 1/5, and we carry a report that is of national interest, and less than 1/5 member are discussing it, despite the fact that it's pending in a court of law. We will be unfair and we will be unjust to continue to debate simultaneously the matter.
Deputy President of the Senate, Barrow Jibrin, who presided over the day's proceedings, advised that time be given for all legal impediments around the matter be addressed.
I think having raised the issue by the chairman of Rules and Business Committee, we need to tarry a while, go with his observation, and then try to give time to consult our legal department to see if we can continue. This is my opinion, I cannot disregard the suggestion or the observation by the chairman of Rules and Business. That will not be fair. So we are not saying that we will not continue with the report, but let's stand it down until we resolve the legal issues involved.
Deputy President Barrow, however, sustained the order and ruled that the report be stepped down and revisited on another legislative day after all of the constraints have been put to rest. From the Red Chamber of the National Assembly, Sagir Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
And President Bola Tinubu has written the Senate requested it to consider and grant concurrent approval to refund a total of 24.6 billion naira to enable the takeover of some airports constructed by state governments. In the letter read by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during Wednesday's plenary, President Tinubu requested the establishment of a promissory notes program to the tune of 15 billion naira to Kebbi State Government and also 9 billion naira to Nasarawa State Government. The letter further revealed that the takeover approved in July 2022 by the previous administration includes the Lafia Cargo Airport and Sir Ahmadu Bello International Airport in Birnin Kebbi. The Senate has referred the matter to the Committee on Local and Foreign Debts, which is expected to review and report back to it.
I write to request the concurrence of the Senate for the establishment of promissory note program in favor of Kebbi and Nasarawa state governments for the reimbursements of the respective cost of construction of newly built airports in those states, which have been taken over by the federal government. The Senate is invited to note that at the Executive Council meeting of EC 2nd 2023 16 extraordinary meeting of the Federal Executive Council FEC, which was held on the 23rd day of May 2023, it was approved as follows: that that a promissory note in the sum of 9,542,000 or 542,651,786 naira 11 kobo only be issued to Nasarawa State Government as refund for the takeover of the newly constructed Nasarawa Airport.
And similarly, on Thursday, President Bola Tinubu asked the House of Representatives to grant concurrent approval to the federal government to refund 24 billion naira to Nasarawa and Kebbi State government for the takeover of the airports built by the two states. President Tinubu also sought the consideration of the House to create the National Doping Bill 2024. Let's take a look at these and other stories from the Green Chamber after Thursday's plenary.
The President is seeking the approval of the House of Representatives to refund over 15 billion naira to the Kebbi State Government and 9 billion naira to Nasarawa State Government. Kebbi State Government had earlier spent the money to construct the Sir Ahmadu Bello International Airport in Birnin Kebbi, the state capital, while Nasarawa State Government spent 9 billion for the construction of the Lafia Cargo Airport, Nasarawa.
Aviation, including airports, safety of aircraft and carriage of passengers and goods by air fall under the exclusive legislative list. The import of these is that ownership, regulations, and control of airports in Nigeria are exclusive to the federal government.
The Speaker also read the President's letter on Doping Bill 2024.
The enactment of this vital legislation will also help Nigeria avoid the imposition of signatory consequences, inclusive of loss of hosting and participating at regional, continental, and world championships or major athletic events.
Also at Thursday's plenary, the Speaker read the letter on the passage of FCTA supplementary appropriations.
Appropriation. The capital projects are a vital component of the performance of the FCT and shall significantly impact manpower and infrastructural development within the FCT.
In another development, the House called on the federal government to suspend the introduction of genetically modified crops into the country until a comprehensive investigation on them is concluded. The resolution of the House followed the adoption of the motion moved by Mukhtar Sagaya.
The House is aware that genetically modified foods have been created to contain almost anything, including genes which have higher levels of toxicity and negative long-term effects on human health. The House is further aware that the National Biosafety Management Agency, NBMA, has been accused of approving the introduction of GM crops into Nigeria without following due process and scientific protocols.
He is worried that the introduction of genetically modified crops has led to public outcries, with serious concerns expressed about the potential risk they may pose to human health, environment, degradation, and food security. Plenary resumes next week Tuesday.
And to other news, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has threatened to down tools after 2 weeks if the President Bola Tinubu administration fails to pay public universities lecturers their withheld salaries. ASU President Emmanuel Oshodake said it is unfair for the federal government to pay lecturers 4 months of their 2022 withheld salaries and hold on to that of 3.5 months. Oshodake said ASU members must be fully paid for the entire period of the industrial action in 2022. He submitted that the Tinubu administration has not done lecturers any favors by clearing 4 of their about 8 months withheld salaries. And cattle breeders in Kara Market in Bukuru town of Jos South local government area of Plateau State are protesting state government's plan to evacuate them from the market. The Jos Metropolitan Development Board, JMDB, had on Monday gave 2 weeks ultimatum to the traders of the market on the grounds that government is building a stadium in the area. The traders, who made their plea during a press conference held in the market on Friday, led by Hamza Ahmed Yusuf, youth leader of the market, said that although they were not against the government's policies, it is also paramount to have a rethink over the consequences that may likely be to befall them. Traders said relocating them from the current cattle market to Gero or Sabungida areas, which were proposed as new cattle markets during former Governor David Jang, would put their lives in danger, considering the ethno-religious crisis that has been bedeviling the state for many years. They added that the market serves as a center of unity where people from different ethnic groups converge for business transactions. And the embattled former chairman of the disciplinary committee of the Oyo State Park Management System, Mukaila Lamidi, popularly known as Auxiliary, has been arrested. The Commissioner of Police in Oyo State, Adebola Hamzat, who broke the news to newsmen at the force headquarters in Ibadan, warned those with sinister motives to steer clear of the state, stating emphatically that Auxiliary would be made to answer for his suspected criminal activities. Take a look.
It is a major breakthrough for security agents in Oyo State, who have been on the trail of the embattled chairman of the disciplinary committee of the park management system, Lamidi Mukaila, popularly known as Auxiliary. He was arrested penultimate Tuesday at his Olodo residence in Ibadan, the state capital, after the police had declared him wanted on the 2nd of June last year. 1 year down the line, the transporter is in the police net and will be made to answer for his suspected criminal activities.
Discreet intelligence-led search commenced for the sacked PMS chieftain with the help of technology, collaborative effort of sister agencies and community policing. Many locations were identified, traced and combed for months until his recent arrest in a concerted effort with our sister services. Moving forward, the suspect will be charged to court for offenses he has committed.
Security agents took strategic positions at the first headquarters Eleyele, Ibadan, as the former PMS chairman was being led to waiting police vehicles to be ferried to an unknown destination. Police authorities warned individuals with ulterior motive to steer clear of the stage.
While the command is thanking the public for providing credible information to curb crime, it has become imperative to affirm to the general public about our resolve to deal decisively with any criminally motivated individual or group who intends to flip the state retrogressively into the historical dark age of the Wild West.
Lamidi Mukaila, popularly known as Auxiliary, is accused of suspected murder, illegal possession of firearms, gun running, and kidnapping, among other crimes. Police authorities have promised to ensure that he faces the full weight of the law.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly. Properties worth millions raised as inferno hits phone headquarters in Yenagoa. Listen more stories after the break. Join us again. Thanks for staying with the news update on Trust TV. Now look at the top stories again. After months of delay, student loan portal set to open May 24. And ASU threatens to down tools after 2 weeks due to salary arrears. Now, some students of the Obafemi Awolowo University OAU Ile-Ife in Osun State on Thursday sustained varying degrees of injury as the ceiling of the amphitheater of the Odua Hall caved in while lecture was in progress. While the injured students are receiving treatment, the management of the university has sealed off the amphitheater until further notice. Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbade files in the report.
The incident was caused by a windstorm that followed a heavy downpour. The injured students were rushed to the Medical and Health Center of the university for treatment, while those in critical conditions were taken to the Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital Complex. The Vice-Chancellor, Adebayo Bamire, led other principal officers of the university to the hospital to ensure that the injured students were given adequate medical attention. Students of the university appealed to federal government to provide adequate funds for the management of the institution to repair the amphitheater and other facilities on the OAU campus.
We received a call that there had been a collapse at the level of amphitheater that is at OAU. On getting there, we found out that it was just part of the ceiling that fell down, of which some students sustained injury. And with immediate effects, those students have been transported down to the health center, while some that need intense medical treatment have been taken to the teaching hospital.
I remember last year, this very particular amphi was on lockdown for rehabilitation. And we should appreciate the promptness of the Vice Chancellor to rise up today and check on the victim of the incident. We equally appreciate the calmness of the students and the maturity of the student union to see this as an unforeseen circumstance. Nobody wish anybody evil. I hope the government will put more resources into university.
The incident that happened today is very touching and devastating, and the federal government should please come to our aid by providing funds for the repair and for the repair of the lecture theater, so that stuff like this will not be happening and everywhere will be safe and students will be safe.
Meanwhile, the management of the university has sealed off the amphitheater until further notice. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
And there was a pandemonium in the Pansia axis of Yenagoa, the Bayelsa state capital, on Thursday as residents scampered for safety following a fire outbreak at a building known as Phone Headquarters. The fire outbreak, which destroyed properties worth millions of naira, did not record any human casualties as first responders were handy to assist people evacuate the premises. Trust TV's Friday, Ebimoboy Peter has more details.
Eyewitnesses were on ground to assist with evacuations before the arrival of the state and federal fire services said the fire was suspected to have been ignited by generators.
Where fire come, we don't know. But my beg me say, let state government look about this and help the owner of the property and other people nearby where the fire affect.
I was actually at my office. The next time I saw the smoke coming out from the up. So we now run down. As we run down, we realized that there was a fire, serious fire incident. What I did first was to call Bayelsa Police Control Room to help us notify the fire service. But after all of that, I realized that the fire service were taking some time. So with the help of everyone on ground, so we're now fetching water from this river. We were passing to each other. So most of us climbed on top of the zinc to pour the water till it was to a level of the fire season that the fire service people now came to assist quenching the fire. The factor that caused the fire is the generator.
I see fire really burning. Then after then, I see my community boys and other people trying to support, make sure that the fire quench. Then after then, when we quench the fire almost to the subsided, then after then, we see that the fire service started coming.
Officials of the federal and state fire services advise business owners to always put fire extinguishers in place for the safety of lives and properties.
A lot of damages happens to properties, and if not promptly attended to, it will cause serious issues. And we thank God that this one is not a very high volume of it. If you compare to some other ones, thank God no life was lost. A few properties that were damaged. We thank God for neighbors that were around promptly to attend to it before we came. But if they had called earlier, I think the damage wouldn't have been this much.
My advice to people is that, all fire starts from small, except from explosion. So I want to advise the general public, business owners, you should have fire extinguisher, portable fire extinguisher, so that when you discover fire at the incipient stage, you can tackle it before it comes to inferno. So every business owner, every household owner should have a fire extinguisher in your house, because as you can see, the fire started from small. Although there was fire extinguisher, but it's not adequate for them to put off the fire.
The fire outbreak did not only affect the phone headquarters building, also spread to neighboring shops. From Yenagoa, Friday, Ebimobowe Peter, Trust TV News, Yenagoa.
And the government of South Sudan and rebel opposition groups on Thursday signed a commitment declaration for peace during high-level mediation talks in Kenya. The agreement is a key step in efforts to end the conflict in South Sudan that has long crippled its economy. The content of the agreement was not made public during the signing ceremony, attended by diplomats and civil society groups. The rebel opposition groups were not part of the 2018 agreement that ended South Sudan's 5-year civil war that left 400,000 people dead and millions displaced. Kenya's Foreign Office said the agreement was a first milestone in the ongoing talks in which warring sides pledged their commitment to end the violence and hostilities. And a Ghanaian has instituted a legal case against the United Kingdom Home Office after he was denied permanent residency despite living in the country for 42 years. The Ghanaian, identified as Nelson Shadi, is a retired 74-year-old man who arrived in the UK in 1977. But after living in the UK for almost 50 years, Shadi was informed to wait another 10 years before the Home Office could grant him permanent residency. Shadi had for many years assumed he was officially British after he first arrived in the UK in 1977 to study accountancy on a student visa that also allowed him to work. He only discovered otherwise in 2019, and despite paying taxes all his adult life, now faces paying thousands of pounds to stay and use the NHS. And in sports, Ethiopian running legend Kenenisa Bekele will return to the Olympics for the first time in 12 years after he was named in a 10-member team for the Paris Games on Thursday. Bekele, 41, last competed in the Games in London in 2012 when he finished 4th in the men's 10,000 meters before being overlooked for the 2016 and 2020 Olympics. A remarkable second-place finish at the London Marathon in April was enough to earn him a place for the Paris Olympics in a squad which also features women's world record holder Tigist Assefa. Bekele, who has won 3 Olympic golds in the 5,000 meters and 10,000 meters, will renew his rivalry with reigning Olympic champion and former world record holder Eliud Kipchoge, who was named in the Kenyan team on Tuesday. The Olympics men's marathon will be held on August 10, with the women's race a day later. And that wraps up the news updates at this hour. Do well to follow us across all of our social platforms and join our live stream on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. My name is Sakir Ibrahim. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the day.